So after an all West Cork derby win in the quarterfinals against Donnies, O'Donovan and Rossa are now one win away from the Senior A County Football Championship final. And joining me here on the podcast is David Shannon of O'Donovan and Rossa, midfielder for the team, just to talk about their game against St. Michael's at the weekend, a big game for the club in general. I suppose, first of all, David, it's a huge game for you. How are you feeling ahead of the game?
Yeah, I suppose first of all we're excited. We're looking forward to it. It's been the aim all year to get to kind of this stage. So yeah, we're really looking forward to it now and hopefully enjoy the week leading up to it.
Definitely so. And you look at the group stage, you did so well in that, like losing to Clyde, I know, in the last game, but in the first two games, especially in that El Skibbereen derby, as we christened it on the Southern Star against Island Rovers, and the first game, obviously, against Newmarket, you beat both teams quite comfortably in them. So, were you happy with the first two games, or were you more disappointed in the game against Clyde after that?
Yeah, well, I suppose we set out kind of two things that we wanted to achieve from the group stages, and I suppose number one was to qualify, which we did, and number two was to kind of top the group and get to the semi final, which we failed to do at last day. So I suppose we were very happy with the first two performances. We played very well against Newmarket. We're very happy. The local derby against Island Rovers. Look, it was a tough battle against Island Rovers, as it always is. A few things went our way with three black cards, but we ended up coming out on top, which we were very happy with. So we couldn't fault ourselves there after the first two games, and then we felt we did leave ourselves down against Clyde. We just didn't get going. We played poor, and we were quite disappointed after that. Now, to be honest, right?
And even looking at the quarterfinal against Donny's, like before that Donny's game, did you feel you had a lot to work on after the loss to Clyde?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I suppose just to get ourselves right, and look, we were lucky enough that we did perform poorly in a championship game, but we had that kind of safety net that we were qualified. So we just had to make sure it didn't happen again. Look, I suppose when you're qualified, it is hard to give your best football and stuff. But we did try, but it just didn't happen for us in the race. So we just had to make sure that didn't happen again against Donny's, and thankfully things went our way now, in fairness.
And you've been involved in two West Cork derbies, as a matter of fact, this season against Ireland, of course, and against Donny's in the quarterfinals. So, what would be the big difference between playing in a West Cork derby and just playing another team inside the county, really?
Well, I suppose a talk around the town really and stuff, and there's something about West Cork Derby seems to get piques everyone's interest really. There's always a bit more of a biting interest around the town and even the training and stuff. You'd feel it between players and stuff leading up to the few weeks. You're playing against lads that kind of you grew up with. We were in school with a lot of Island Rovers lads, and we'd have been in college and stuff with a few of the Donnies boys. So yeah, Joe, it's always nice to have a crack off each other there on the pitch.
And that quarterfinal against Donny's, of course, a 13 point to 8 win. Like, it was a very good win at the end. Dylan Howard scoring a good load. I think it was 4 points from play that game. Pretty good performance by him, and pretty good performance by the whole team, really, in that West Cork derby against Donny's.
Yeah, look, Dylan was brilliant. He was excellent that day. We're very impressed with him now. He's playing well all year, in fairness. And yeah, it was nice, nice to get to beat the Donnies, especially we felt after last year. They gave us a bit of a hiding there in the group stages last year, so we owed them one. And look, we're under no illusions that they're a good side, and they did bring a serious fight to us. I know a couple things went against them on the day. I think they won't be too happy with their shooting and stuff. They had a good few wides, but look, these things happen in games, and we're lucky to go out on top. Yeah.
And look at the games in the past, the wins have really been down to, well, the players have done brilliant so far, and Gino Donovan, the manager, has been absolutely brilliant coming in this season, I suppose. And one thing he actually pointed out to me was the big challenge to get you focused in a way was probably to not focus on the opposition as much and really focus on yourselves. Do you feel that in training, and do you feel that's quite a help?
Yeah, look, Gino's been brilliant since he came in. In fairness, we are very, very happy with him. We're all behind him, and we've great belief in him. And look, he shows that in us as well. He backs us to the hilt, as we probably could say forever on the sideline any day. Look, he'll give us everything, and we're delighted with him. He's brilliant. But yeah, look, we do try and concentrate on ourselves more. We feel that we're the type of team that, look, if we can get ourselves right and get us performing to the best of our ability, we'll be good enough for any team in this competition. And whereas if we kind of concentrate on other teams and forget about our own performance, look, if we don't turn up, we're we're not very poor, I suppose, but we don't get up to the standard that we should be at. So we're just trying to make sure that we bring everything really.
I suppose not having any county players would kind of hinder the team in a bit in a way really. But when you look at the key players in your team that didn't play county this year, the likes of yourself, likes of Ryan Price, the Donlow Cotlet, Elliot Conley, etc. Was it better kind of to have the whole panel together for the league so you get used to each other in a way?
Yeah, sure. I suppose it is like there is. I suppose there's pros and cons with having players involved with the county. Like, like don't get me wrong, it would be great to have lads playing with the county. They'd be trained at a higher standard, and like, yeah, they're and playing with better players and stuff, so they'd improve themselves. But I suppose as a team, it is better for us to have everyone around. You have the same kind of 15 most, well, 17, 18 maybe, starting with league games and stuff like that. You'd have a few injuries all the time, but not having fellas away and stuff like that, because we have a few lads working away, so it's tough enough at the best of times. So without lads having lads involved into county teams, then it suits us better. Yeah, definitely.
And looking ahead to the semi final, like it is against Michaels, obviously reached the final in the last 2 years of the Cedar A failed to get over the line. So would you know a good bit about Michaels or not?
Sorry there, Matt, you got cut off there.
Oh, sorry. Michaels, they reached the final in the last 2 years of the Cedar A football championship. Like they'd be a pretty good side. Would you know much about Michaels leading up to the semi final?
Yeah, look, we know, look, they're a very strong side. If you see their results over the last couple of years, we know they're they're the team to beat in this competition nearly every year. They're the favourites from the start of it, so they'll have the favourite tag is definitely going out at the weekend. But yeah, look, we look forward to playing them. We drew them in the group stages 2 years ago, and we had a great match over in St Mary's and Ballineen, and yeah, it was a cracking match. So we look forward to playing them again.
And I suppose another aspect that you'll be looking forward to is probably going out in the Park Keeve turf. Some of the team haven't been in Park Keeve, I can imagine as well. So what's that going to be like going out to Park Keeve in a double header really in the county semi final? It doesn't really get much better than that.
No, I looked at it. Like, it's excellent. It's what you were kind of, I suppose, dream of really growing up. You young lads playing JA in Cork. Like you want to be playing on the main pitch in the county. Like so, yeah, it'd be great. There's a lot of fellas haven't played there. I know myself. I haven't played a match there. Like so, and there's a lot of young lads there involved who haven't played there either. But it won't make a difference. I'm sure lads will be going into play and getting on with the game. So I don't think the venue will make much of a difference. But it will be a great experience. There's no doubt about that.
Definitely will, especially for the young players as well, rising through the ranks, like getting used to Park Keeve. It's probably what you need going up through the ranks in the next few years, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully there'll be a few more matches there to come over the next couple of years. But look, we'll start with next Saturday now, and hopefully we'll start off on a good note there.
Bit about yourself, David, because I looked through the history of yourself. You're a former Wexford inter-county player. So, how did that come about? Did you go down from Skip to Wexford, or why did you go down to Wexford from Skip in the first place?
Yeah, so I joined the Guards in 2015 and the end of 2015. So I got my first station in Escarty in Wexford in 2016. So I was still playing senior football with Skib at the time and traveling up and down for 2016. So I was living in Wexford Town and I found a club, St John's Volunteers in Wexford Town, to train with at the time. So I was kind of training with them and playing matches in Skibbereen and stuff. And at the time, their manager, Paul McLaughlin, he was a Kildare man. He got the Wexford inter-county job in the 2018 era. So yeah, he approached me. I think it was on September, October, and said that he was going in and he'd just like me to be involved. But the only thing was that I would have to be playing football in Wexford at the time. I couldn't play with Skib and be involved with a Wexford inter-county team. So yeah, I had a big decision to make. And look, I had to make a decision for myself, really. It was tough leaving the club that you grew up with, and I suppose the club you love playing with. But yeah, I did because things weren't really working at the time, traveling up, like it's an 8 hour round trip. And look, it wasn't good for the club here, me just being around for matches, and it wasn't good for my body either. So I made a decision. And look, this is a decision that worked well for me. I played down there for 4 years, so, and then came back and loving it since I came back ever since.
Interesting story. And I suppose if the opportunity did pass up again, would you go back to playing football for Wexford?
No, I don't think so. No, it's Skibbereen, so I'm 31 now, so I'd say the majority of my good days are over. So yeah, hopefully now I'll be stuck in West Cork now for the rest of my career.
And what would be the main difference from playing intercounty football with Wexford and playing in the Cork Cedar Football Championship, or Cedar A Football Championship, should I say? Because they, in my eyes, really, it'd be pretty similar levels, really.
Yeah, you're dead right. Yeah, it's about the same level in fairness. Like the standard of football in West Cork is very high. There's no doubt about that. And look, the club level in Wexford, I suppose I wouldn't rate it as high as the football in Cork in the club level. That would be because the majority of clubs in Wexford are hurling primarily. So they just, yeah, there's no club in football or in Wexford really to concentrate in the football. So it takes play second fiddle there.
Was a bit of a tough question though. If Cork and Wexford were to play in the All Ireland Football Championship or a league or whatever, who would you be backing?
Oh, I'd be backing Cork. I suppose I have to stick my roots. And look, I was only Wexford I spent about 6 years in Wexford all along. But yeah, I definitely back to Cork now is where I belong. So
You'd be dead right, definitely, David. Yeah, it'd be very. I'd say a lot of skip fellas will give you a lot of slaggy if you showed for Wexford.
yeah, big time. Yeah, so there's always good crack. Sure, that's a bit of crack between lads as well. In fairness, so yeah, it's a good laugh.
Absolutely. And I suppose, really, what would this win mean for Skibbereen if they were to win the semi final against Michaels to get into a Cedar A final and potentially get up to a Premier Cedar Championship as well? Like, what would it mean for the community of Skib really to get up to that championship? Because you're all Ireland winners of the past. Like, you won it in the 90s with the likes of the Davises in that team as well. So for Skib to get back up to the top grade of Cork football, that'd be big for the community.
Yeah, look, it's massive. Look, it's where we want to be, and I think it's where everyone wants to be that's involved with the club. Like, I suppose, like in a way, we kind of feel that we should be up there with the history of the club and stuff, and being a big town, and there is a big football community around. So we feel we deserve it for even the past players and the followers and stuff to have them in the top grade and have them supporting the top club. So yeah, definitely look to be a massive achievement for us to get us back up there. But it's the number one priority really over next. We set it out since we did get relegated that it was always our aim to get back up as soon as possible.
And how do you feel about this system actually playing in Cedar A rather than Premier Senior? Like there's 12 clubs, in fact, in Premier Senior, 12 clubs in Senior A. Like it was a bigger championship in the past. Do you think it kind of suits sides like Skip more playing in this championship, playing with teams at your level rather than getting beatings? Like I suppose if you played at Nemo or Castlehaven, you might not really develop. But as you're playing at Cedar A, you've developed hugely this season.
Yeah, look, there's no doubt about it. Obviously, like everyone else would always say that you'd rather be in the top championship. But look, you have to be realistic. We're realistic at the level we're at. And there's nothing better than a competitive championship game. I know a couple of years before we did get relegated or got put down to Senior A, I suppose we should call it. We drew Nemo a couple of years and there wasn't a few pretty results. Like, so look, we're in the division we're in at the moment, and we have been there for the last 2 or 3 years. So we're just doing our best to get back up out there and improve as well to make sure that we're good enough to be up there. There's much point in going up there if you're not good enough to compete. So yeah, hopefully we'll be good enough to get up there and stay up there and compete in the next couple of years.
And that game against St. Michael's is on at 5 o'clock this Saturday in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Should be a very good game. And definitely the whole of West Cork will be behind O'Donovan and Rossa for that game. Thank you, David, for coming on to the podcast. Best of luck now on Saturday against St. Michael's. And the whole of West Cork is behind you.
Lovely. Cheers. Thanks very much. Thanks, man.